You're kidding me. No sound again. All right. I'm back. Yes. Well, I spent all morning checking all of that, and I missed one of them. Team. So thanks for the shout out. You guys are my producers, my co-producers in this. We're back. Zaf, thanks, mate. Anyway, there you go. Anyway, well, I should have had a couple more coffees by the sounds of it before we got cracking this morning. But all good. Good to see all of you guys here. Thanks for the shout out. Let me know what was going on. Alison, Nick, Tanya, James, Joe, Chris, Brendan, Sean. All good. Yeah, well, we're into it. So that's great, team. Good to have you here. I just showed a moment ago, if you knew, Jason Witten is my name. And each morning for quite a while now, been getting together with a cool, crazy crew just like you to talk about real estate. Have a little bit of a chat. We call it a wealth coffee chat in the mornings just to keep us on track, because this thing, as you guys would know, is a marathon, not a sprint. It takes time, it takes focus, it takes commitment and discipline to go the distance to build our property portfolio. And I've always found that if you can keep yourself on track, these minor adjustments daily or minor, check-ins daily are much better than one check-in a year. I think you can get off track pretty quickly over a year, maybe even over a few months, to be honest. So, for those who are new, dialing in, Jono, all the way from Wellington, New Zealand. Great to have you zooming in or live streaming in. Fantastic to have you here, mate. We've got a catch cry around here, which is buy well, never sell. This thing's a marathon, not a sprint. Property investing is about owning something that you want to keep for the long term. The long term. Growing your portfolio in a smart, clever way. Brendan's all over it. Good work, Brendan. Smart, clever way. That brings you peace of mind, not stress. Buying great properties that you're happy to own is the key. So, I've been hanging out with property investors for over 20 years now. I've been investing over 20 years myself, coaching property investors for over 18. And I can tell you this, people that I meet who've owned properties for 15 or 20 years are pretty chilled and pretty happy about what they own. If you haven't already, jump on. Tabitha Bright just released a podcast interviewing some of the mentoring and the coaching clients and property investment tales, I think it's called. I'll get the exact name for you guys while I roll along. But property investment tales, property investor tales, stories from the front yard. Go check it out on iTunes and Spotify. And she's interviewing all sorts of property investors who are, doing the do, just like you. And the other day, one of the interviews was talking about a gentleman who bought a property 20 years ago, $89,000 in Adelaide. Now it's worth $800,000. There you go, team. Don't underestimate the power of compounding growth over time for you and your property portfolio. Anyway, let's get on with today. Enough of my rabbiting on. Tell me, team, what do you reckon in the pandemic? I know a lot of people who paused their mortgages, a lot of people who took money out of their super funds and dumped it in a savings account. I'll show you that little chart in a second. But tell me, what do you reckon, team? The banks over the pandemic, give me a thumbs up or whatever. Do you think they did a good job? Like I personally think they did a good job, but I'm not a fan of them personally, how they get away with a lot of stuff. But over the pandemic, I think they did a good job helping out the country, helping out people under financial stress. But what do you reckon? Do you think they did that from the goodness of their own heart? What do you reckon? I don't think they did. But anyway, let's have a look at this today as we go and have a bit of a chat about what's going on in the world of banking. Yeah, hoping they never ordered it. Well, let's have a look at this one, Alison. I don't know if you guys have seen this, but here's in billions of dollars, and that's where the super fund industry were freaking themselves out. 10 years on it, yeah. Banks kept their consumers happy while making huge profits. Matter of fact, 10-year, some close to record profits as well. As we go. Morning, Jason. Morning, Mark. Yeah. Banks held customers still made big profits. Win-win. And that's what I like. It's a win-win situation. But check this out. Have a look if you can see that in a reasonable way. I might zoom in here for you. This was sort of JobKeeper, additional job seeker payments. Have a look at the super withdrawal. You can see the green one. Look at that, the super withdrawal team. Check it out. Check out the billions of dollars that flowed out of the super companies. Billions, big peaks in the super withdrawals for people. And where do you think they put that money? By and large, folks, two places that money went. There's a few other places, but for us, when we're looking, where do you think that cash went, team? When people grabbed that money, they got JobKeeper. They took their super out. Maybe they had a few extra bonuses. Maybe their expenses weren't so much. What happened in Australia right now in this moment, in these last couple of years, if you have a look up here, household savings are at a record high, which means cash, household savings. Where do most people put their savings, team? Most people put their savings in the bank, right? They put cash in the bank because they think it's safe, right? They should rename savings accounts losings accounts. That's what I think. Savings accounts are losings accounts. Once that money's in the bank, and then, what are you getting paid for it? 0.5% if you're lucky, maybe 2%, maybe 1%, it depends on where you put it. Not a great return on your cash because it's safe. And for me, under the bed, Brendan. It's probably better under the bed, to be honest. But anyway, but what happens, team? What happens is this: when and this is how the banks, few of the team give it a shout out there. The banks making record profits. Have a look at the profits that the banks made. Big Four banks made profits in the 6 months. 4 billion, 2 billion, 3 billion, 3 billion. Massive profits, team. Massive profits, okay? In the September quarter, okay? So they didn't lose money. They didn't come down the last shower. So what happened? Let's just quickly talk about this. Where do the banks get their money from? Where do the banks get their money from to lend out? Okay? Where do the banks get their money from to lend out? Let's have a look at this. And right now, a thing called domestic deposits. Another one, shout out to Timmy Boyle. He's my main man, gives me a lot of these charts. He's an absolute legend at finding them. The funding composition of the lenders, the banks, the people who lend you and me money, where do they get that money from? And if you have a look, we are now at an amazing high, an unbelievable high for the banks and the lenders right now when it comes to their funding position, team, okay? They are getting their money from you and me. They're getting it from you and me to lend back to us. That's what's happening. Look at this, right? Domestic deposits means this is your savings. So when we have a look at how the lenders, the banks, now have made profits in these times, it doesn't surprise me in any way, shape, or form that the lenders, the banks are making profits. Team, this is what's happened. And for me, also, why another reason we should be letting our, making sure our money is always at work, because these domestic deposits, team, also can form, your equity can form part of this. So the point of my conversation today is this, right? So let's get to the point. Your home, let's just have a look at this, right? Let's say your home and you've got a loan on this home, okay? And let's say you had an 80% loan and over time you have been paying principal and interest on that loan, okay? You've paid principal and interest on that loan as you go, and you've paid the loan down. Now I'm just going to say for argument's sake that home's worth $800,000. Your loan is $400,000, and the equity in here, which is the total equity, by the way, team. The total equity, by the way, is $400,000. $400K. Okay. Now, depending on the contract you have with the bank, the old bank over here, I think that's not a great looking bank drawing, but anyway, you can kind of get the picture. Over here, the bank, you have a contract with the bank, and they can use your equity. They use your equity as security to lend money. Nick, there you go. They're lending your money back to you. They use your money, right? And then you go, all right, I'm going to put my money in my savings account, all right? And do you know what? Nick? They're offering a 1.5% if I put it in a 6-month deposit, all right? You know how you can get those offers where you go, I'll put it in there. If you keep over 10,000 in that account, whatever it is. So then they offer you this rubbish return, right? Rubbish return in your savings account, and then they then can use your home. They are using your home, just so you guys know. They're using your home and your cash as security. It's called securitized lending. And then they loan that money to other people. To buy another house. Okay? And that's the way the system works, team. Right? So this is, for me, one of the other reasons why we talk about this all the time. Interest only. Don't pay the principal back. Principal is a stupid way of giving the banks back their money, your money, and then they go and make money with it. The banks are making money with your money, and you feel safe because you've paid a principal payment. And that cycle goes on. The psychology of this team often, unfortunately, sadly, is why many people spend 30 years paying their home off, get to retirement, and all they feel is tired and broke, not rich, not achieved, because they don't have an income. They've got an asset that creates no income, okay? So the point, the point is, what are you going to do about it? What should you do as a property investor? Okay? Well, as a property investor, this is what you should be doing. As an investor of any kind, okay, where we talk about this. For me, in the acquisition, the accumulation stage, I make sure I can get interest-only payments. I put any extra payments or principal, all right, you can still pay a principal and interest payment on your property, but you put the principal in the offset. The interest only goes to the bank, and you build up your dollars in your offset. And when it gets to a point, let's say 80K, 100K, boom, it comes out and you buy your own home with it. You buy an investment property number one. Now it all pours back in. Your wages, your rents, etc., all goes into the offset account. It builds up again, and then boom, out it goes to buy the next investment property. Okay? That's the acceleration process that we must do as property investors as we go along. All right? So hopefully that makes sense, team. To you and me, don't give the banks our money. Then we have to beg and like, can I have it back, please? And then they make you jump through all these damn hoops. And they say, oh, you're a bad lending risk. Like, seriously? You don't know what you're talking about. Anyway, there you go. A bit of a bitzer conversation this morning, team. You know, the banks didn't do it out of the goodness of their own heart. They got something out of it. So they make money, out of your savings, which should be called losings. A huge amount of money has flowed out into the system. If that's you, put it to work. Because if you're not going to put your money to work, someone else is putting your money to work. You got that? All right? So there you go, team. All right, well, I think that's about it. That's about it from me. Wealth Coffee Chat done today. Hopefully you're all well, wherever you are. Great to see all of you guys on here. Thanks for joining me this morning. I keep saying I want to get kicked off at about 8:05, but it seems to be slipping on me. Tomorrow I'll be kicking off at about 8:05. So join me again then, folks. Until then, you guys stay well. Take care. Bye for now.